start streaming. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to stream today. We're just going to do this privately between us for today, mostly because it just gives me extra work when I stream it. And again, I'm really busy today, so I'm not going to give myself more work than I need. All right. Today we're talking about your to-do list. How does everyone feel about their to-do list? You feel all right? All right, everyone's like, yeah. Anybody like super? Was that?
I keep one daily. I believe in schedules.
Good, good. And so does anyone ever feel overwhelmed by their to-do list? Okay, good.
I can.
Good, good, yeah. So there's definitely one of the things I hear the most with when I teach people is that they're overwhelmed with their to-do list. And sometimes they don't even say it in those words. Sometimes it sounds more like, I'm just so tired and frustrated and I have so much to do and I got to do this and this person needs me to do that, and they're just complaining, right? And what I'm hearing is that their to-do list is out of control and they're not prioritizing and they're not managing it properly. And a lot of times I also hear people say, oh, I know I had something scheduled on this date at this time, but I wrote it down somewhere and now I can't find where it is, so I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I have something scheduled. And if you've ever, if you could relate to that, it might be because you have to-do lists in a lot of different places, right? Like maybe on your notebook, maybe on Post-it notes, you have your to-do list all over the place. And I used to be like that too. And I have recently, not recently, it's been years now since I've stopped being like that, but I was like that for a long time. But I found this site that I'm going to share with you guys today. It's not the only site that you could do this on, but again, I'm just sharing with you what I use personally for me. You can do a search out there for other sites that you could do the same things with. This is a free site that helps you to manage your to-do list and your team, if you happen to have one. And so when I came across this, probably, I don't know, it had to be 5 or 6 years ago. It was really hard to get in the habit of using it at first, but once I got in the habit of using it, it's been a lifesaver because I know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do it, and I can set things up in a way that makes my work easier and more productive. So I'm going to share my screen and show you guys this program. The site is called Asana.com, which is ASANA.com. See, Asana.com. And we'll just walk through my page a little bit to show you guys. If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and then ask it, because again, when I share my screen, sometimes I can't see when anybody's physically raising their hand. All right, so when you first log into Asana, the first thing that you see is your home screen. I'm actually going to minimize this down a little bit. There we go. All right, so the first thing you see is your home screen. It will show you any tasks that you have due soon, which I believe is for the week. And so this is an example of, so mine is create my time management quiz questions and answers. That is for a module that I'm working on, my time management module. I've got to do, that's one of the things I need to do for that module here. But then as you scroll down, then it shows your favorites. These are the boards that you visit often. And in a moment, I'll show you what a board is and how to find them and where to create them. And then after that, it shows your recent projects, things that you have recently been working in, okay, that you've looked at or anything like that. So over here on the left-hand side, we'll go through this first. That was the home page, your dashboard that I was showing you. My tasks are the tasks that I have for me in all of my different business things, right? And a lot of these we have, when I brought on a business partner, we've put a lot of these on hold, and actually a lot of these are done. That one is done, right? So, and actually that one is done. And I haven't gone through this yet this week, but so a lot of these you'll notice that have a back date. It shows in red, which means it's already been due. But I could make a new due date for these, but some of these things I don't know what we need the due date for. So like on this one, order business cards, we've already ordered 2 business cards, but we still have 2 more people to order them for. And so we just need to update that. But down here, then it shows more dates and tasks of things that need to be done. And then in the later section, and it shows it in order, you'll notice. So all the April stuff, all the May stuff. And as you can see, I schedule things even far out, because it's like when you first dump things into this, you want to schedule, you want to put everything in there that you could think of that you need to do. Everything. Just dump it in here, and then you prioritize it and you set due dates and stuff like that. But this will be a place where you can find things easily, because here's one thing. Let's say if I want to see, let's use this for instance, sign up for Builderall, the affiliate program, right? That's something that as a team, if you look over here, actually, let me click off this. For the affiliate program over here, it shows that we're looking to do that in June, because we'll start promoting it after that. But let's say if I didn't know that that was there, and I'm like, where's that Builderall task that I need to do? I could type Builderall in the search bar up here, and it will show me every task I have to do that relates to Builderall. So anytime that you're looking for something specific, you don't have to look through notebooks of stuff. You could just type it. Same thing, I could look for all my time management stuff right here, all the stuff that I'm doing that's in relation to my time management stuff, all right there. All right, so let me go back here to my tasks to show you guys those. If I want to add a task, as you see up here at the top, I can click add a task, and let's see, I'll do upload training videos, I should say, because I have a couple that need to be uploaded right now. And then over here on the right side, you can see more information. So this one says that it is private to me. That is because it looks like I've put it on my, I didn't assign it to a team yet. So if I want to make it public, it makes it public to, as you can see, everyone who's in the Fuse marketing and media team. So if I come down to teams, right here is my teams, and all the people underneath it are the people who can see it on that team. Okay, right here. And I'll show you that in just a moment. So on here, I gave myself a task. I've assigned it to myself. If you have a team, you can assign other people these roles as well. And you could just click on yourself to change it to somebody else, but I've got this for me. The due date, you give yourself any due date. I'm going to put today because I need to do it today. And you could connect this to other projects if you want to, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. You could add more detail here. I don't need to add more detail to this because I know exactly what this is, and I'm going to do it today. I do like to put description in here as much as I can, especially if I've scheduled something for 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 months out. So you can do that, and then you can add subtasks. I'm going to show you that in a different area as well. But then after you're done, you can, after you save it, see, does it save automatically? I think it saves automatically. But you can add your collaborators down here. This is people who, basically, if you add somebody to this, they see that you've created it, and they also see anytime that you make a change to it, or if you add a question or a post here, or if you've completed it. So a lot of times, because I have a business partner, I usually add him as a collaborator on everything that I put in my Fuse to-do list. Because it's helpful for him to see what I'm working on, and it's helpful for me to see what he's working on. Even if we don't need to do anything with it, it's still helpful to see what each other's working on. Up here, we can attach a file to this. So if there's something that I need to attach, like an image or a video or a PDF or anything like that, I could attach it by clicking this. It's the same way you would attach something to your Facebook post. You just click it, you find it on your computer, and then it will put it here for whoever to see. Now, everybody on the team can see this, but the only people who get notifications are the ones who are listed as collaborators. And then up here on the next one is the subtasks, which again, I want to show you that on one that I already have done. So I'll hold off on that for now. And then here is where you could copy the task link. So if I want to just share this particular task with someone, like a client, for instance, if this was a client thing, I want to share just this task with them, I could copy the link and send it to someone so they could see only this task and nothing else on my to-do list. And so that's helpful. Sometimes I do that with my virtual assistant clients, where I make a list of this is the order I'm doing things in. If you want to add anything, just make a note here. And then, of course, people can like this. If anybody on your team who sees it can like it if they want to. Over here on the right, when you go to more actions, You have, again, I'm going to show you the projects in just a moment. And then you can mark as a milestone. So this could be a milestone for something else. You can mark as approval. Many of these things you don't need to use, you guys. Some of this stuff's really complex, so don't worry about if something's like, I don't know if I'll use that, but I just want to show you some of the options. You can mark this as dependent on another task, which means like before you could do this task, you need to do this one first. Dwight, you have a question?
With the milestone, with what I do, often when the project is complex and has a larger scope of doing, there are milestones that mark certain levels of progression on a job.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes those are a draw point for me where I can get paid. If I
Okay.
make it,
Yes.
So how do you go about using those milestones?
So I want to show you that the milestones is a premium feature, but what you could do is you could do it as a subtask, which is what I do, where you have the one task up here, and then you add your subtasks down here as each individual task, and you could put due dates and assignees on each task, on each subtask. And I'll show you an example of one in just a moment, okay? So then as you continue going down here, you also have you can add tags. This makes it easier to group certain projects or tasks in one. I don't usually use tags. When I do, I usually tag them as like high priority or low priority, things like that. But I don't typically use tasks or tags very much. Now, if this is something you do regularly, you could actually duplicate the task and then just change the due date, right? If it's a recurring event. You could create a follow-up task. So after you've done this, the follow-up task for this instance might be to post that video on social media, right? And then, so what would happen is after I've completed this one, then the follow-up task will become available. And then I can make it private to just the project members. That's the people who are collaborators of this. I could print this. It doesn't make sense to print it right now because all it is just this one task. But if, for instance, I had a conversation down here with other people that are collaborating, I might want to print it in case I need to put it into a file or anything like that. And then the advanced actions, I'm not going to go too much into this because I don't want to confuse you guys. But as you play around with it, you might be interested in converting these and making the subtask. I don't necessarily think is an advanced action, but I'll show you that anyway. But again, not yet. You could delete subtasks or the tasks itself. And so that is an example of creating a task. So now that I've created it, as you can see, it is, where did I just put that? I don't remember where I put it on here, but I can come back to my tasks now and I can go type in oh, I see it right there. But let's just say if I didn't see it, I could say upload, and then I'll find the video, right? Upload training videos. Now, the ones you see that are grayed out like this, these are ones that have already been done, but they still pop up because they had this upload word in it. Okay, so even completed tasks will come up when you when you search for something. And so then I'm able to see, here it is. I come to my tasks. It showed up on my task right here. So upload training videos. My due date is today. Now you'll notice that some of these have tags on them. So like this is like the work order request, work order, and then down here these are running to-do lists, right? So they have different little categories, if you will. So those are over here on in the teams and the projects. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment, as soon as I continue showing you where we're at now. Dwight, is your hand up again?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You said when you search for that one, it shows you older tasks that are already done. How long do the tasks stay in, and is there a way to archive those? Because like my clutter is insane.
Yeah.
Just having old pages of it's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. So by default, you could, mine is set up to only show incomplete tasks on my to-do list. But the reason why it showed up before was because I typed a word. I was searching for a word. So I might want to find a task that I already completed. And so that's why it will show these. It's going to show anything if you search for something. But if you only want to see on your to-do list things that are not done yet, right here where it shows incomplete tasks, you can choose to show all tasks or just completed tasks within the last however often, or the incomplete ones. Now, a lot of times I like to go to the completed tasks and do it for like a week just to see what I've gotten done for the week in case I need to do a report for my business partner, or the month or something like that. All right, so as we continue on, up here at the top, you'll notice that each one of these different teams and projects have these other options here. So this is my list view, but I can also see a calendar view. So if I prefer to see this in a calendar view, I can see when my tasks are due. Most of my tasks, when I give them a due date, I usually give them the due date of Monday or Friday, because those are typically when I do my build fuse days. The days from Tuesday to Thursday is when I work on client work usually. And then my weekends I typically take off. So typically Monday and Fridays are my days that I have stuff scheduled for fuse. All right, so I'm just and all the way to February. And then the next one is files. These are files that have been uploaded to this team for any reason, in any place. And so these are some logos that our team was working on for that company. So they are in that company's file, but they showed up here under files as well. Now, if we move down the list to inbox, this is the inbox of tasks that my team has assigned to me or sent me messages about. So for instance, this one just came in today. Got it? Okay, so this one just came in today. See, it shows today at 8:12. One of our team members sent me a request to send money for stamps and cards because she sends out cards for us. And so I can view that because right now this is in my inbox, but where she sent it at was right here. This is how all of my team members request payment from me. They do it through this program. And so right here, this project that is called work orders and pay requests, we click on it and it shows these are prospective opportunities. Like these are people I'm working on making sales with right now. Right here are requests that people can take, or the whole team actually does all of these three right here. But if there's a new request, it would pop up right here and somebody can assign themselves to it. Like if I put website for Jane Doe, and then I added, just by clicking off, any of my team members could come and click and say, I want this assignment. Now, of course, they know which ones they can and can't do because of the expectations set forth, but I can also set a due date. I can also, if I click in here, I could give more information about what this is. I can add subtasks right here. So I could say like, the theme needs to be chosen by this due date, by this date. You need to talk to the client on this day. Like I could put all these tasks in here as tasks. And this is where I could see the milestones, Dwight. So this is what I would recommend you do instead of using the actual milestones. Use subtasks instead. And you could even every other subtask. So your first one could be finish XYZ. And then the second one could be invoice client for XYZ, right? And then the next one could be finish ABC or whatever. And then invoice client for ABC. And so that's how you can, that would be a good example of how to do that. Looks like I have a chat. Yours is mine is not the pay version. Marie asked, no, mine is the free version. I don't pay for this one. So everything that you guys are seeing right now is the free version. Rick says, how many minutes or hours a day do you spend making a to-do list? Rick, when I first started, it was a long time because I had so many to-do lists and I had so much in my head. And so I spent a lot of time putting everything in here at first, but one of the things I've learned since then is that ever since I've put stuff in here, I've been more accountable for getting it done. I've gotten a lot more things done on a daily basis. Like my to accomplish list, my accomplishment list every day is so much greater now that I'm using this than it ever was when I was using the old systems. And again, I know it's not necessarily right for everyone, but this is what's helped me, and I'm sure it can help you guys at some level, even if you don't use every aspect of it. Dwight, did you have your hand up again?
Yes. With the free version, I don't know if I'm getting feedback. With the free version, is there a chance that you could somehow lose any of this information? I mean, what is it that guarantees that this stuff will be kept? Because I have a app called Time Tree that I use to schedule visits with my kids and some other things that I've already talked about in this group. But I also started a private calendar that I even used that for journaling. So like when I would wake up in the morning and I had a dream, I would open up that app and I would voice in what my dream was about. And there were some other things that I was trying to journal at the time. And I that's why I don't want to get rid of that app, because I don't know how to save that information off of that app without, there's no paid, I didn't pay for that, so I don't have any backup for it or anything like that.
Okay, so I think with any app or program you use, if that app or business decides to close its door, yes, you'll lose everything, including Facebook and all those things. Some things have the option to export them. I don't know to the extent that you can export this stuff, but I do know you can export your to-do list, and I think is it here? Let me see if I can remember how to do it. Invite link, no. Well, you could technically email yourself.
I also have an option to print out things on this.
Yeah,
that's
so
very beneficial because you can keep a hard copy yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can print. I actually just hit the print button on it. Now I'm trying, let me move this to see if, let me move that down there. I was moving the bar. So I usually print just by clicking print or this print friendly plugin that I have. But yeah, and I actually do print my to-do list pretty regularly for the most part, because I prefer things to be on paper. Believe it or not. I think there might be one in here too. No, there's not. So yeah, for me, I just hit Control P and it does print. And it looks just like this. It's got the to-do list, the checks and everything. Okay, so that would be a recommendation that I have. I mean, I don't print my to-do list every day, but every once in a while, when I have like a lot of extra time, I'll print like my week's to-do list for the whole week, and then I'll try to knock out as many of those tasks as I can. Right. So, so then back to the inbox. Anytime somebody has assigned something to you or mentioned you, it's going to go in here. So over here at the top, you can filter it by those different things. So this is things that have been assigned to me. As you can see, the pay requests are always assigned to me. I'm the one who pays out the contractors. If somebody has mentioned me, it shows up here. So like for instance, let's go to this. I'll show you guys an example of, oh wait, that didn't take me to the right thing I wanted to go to. Let me go right to this. Yeah, here we go. So if I click on this, it shows, because the reason I got mentioned in this is because Mark, one of my content writers, tagged me here. So I created this task, and I always name the tasks of what kind of task it is first. So if it's graphic design, content, anything like that, I name it so that the people know what they're looking for to accept it. And then I give it a name. And then if there's lots of details, which there usually is with me, I hit see details. And so coming down here, I give a description. I say, view this site. And I'd like you to come up with your own wording to use, define. And this was when I was creating our branding guide template. I wanted him to, because he's not an expert on marketing, he does content. But I found a site that he could use as an example, and then I wanted him to create it in his own wording, all of these different things, so that when I share with people their the branding bundle, and I'm able to help them understand what each of these things are. And so then I explained to him that this content will be used as the description of what each section is on our clients' branding guides. Each individual paragraph should define what it is, why it's important, and an example, not necessarily accompanied by name. And then I tell him what the pay is, right? So the pay for this would be $30 upon completion. This probably took him about an hour to do. And so then I let him know what it is. And then I say, Mark, can you do one more quick paragraph, right? Because I remembered one that I forgot. And then he started including all of those right in here, all the work that he did on it. Where did it go? So oh, that was the one he sent. So the first one, oh, right here. I said, what do you think? Would you like to do this project? So I tagged him when I first created it. And he says, sure, that sounds good to me. And then the first ones, he emailed me all of them. And then I asked him to, oh, he did put them in here too, but he also emailed them. But as you can see, all I asked him to do was one quick paragraph on each one of these things, which he did, right? And he knew right from the beginning what he was going to get paid. And then he sent it, right? And I marked it complete. And that's one of the things that for my workers, when they do something that I ask them to, I ask them to let me mark the task complete after I've approved it. So I go through, I've approved everything. I made sure that it looks good. I mark it complete, and then he requests payment, and then I pay him. And then, so then now that it's completed, let me show you where we put it. Does anyone have questions right now? All right, so in this thing that we were just on a moment ago, I showed you the first two sections. The second one is, or the third one is things that are in progress, things that we're currently working on right now. And then here's payment request. This is the one that came in today. I'll be sending this over as soon as we get off of here. And then completed. So you could move things around. So this one's in progress. Once it finishes, I can move it here. Or it could be moved here for payment if it was done by somebody other than me. A lot of the ones that are on here, you can see who was assigned to it. So like this one, Mark is assigned to this one, I'm assigned to these. So you can see who's assigned to it, when the due date is, and stuff like that. But you can move it right over here to complete, but if it's not marked completed, it's going to show up still. See how this one is shaded out and this one's not? I'm going to put this back here for a moment because I don't want to put that in the completed because it's not yet completed. But for instance, let me click on one of the ones that is completed. Let me uncheck it. And to mark it completed, all I have to do is hit mark complete. And then leave task. Okay. And then now it's marked as completed in that area. And that's how it's shaded out because I marked it as complete. And then while we're up here, this work order and pay request is a board or a project. People use the name, both of them. So it's technically called a project in here. I call it boards because I've got it set up kind of very similar to the Trello boards. And you guys, I added Trello to the list because a lot of people were asking about it. So I went ahead and added it on here so you guys will learn a little bit about that as well. But this is set up very similar to the Trello board. But if I want to see it in a list form, I can, and it is still set up, categorized, right? My prospective opportunities, my new requests, my in progress, my payment requests, and then all the completed stuff is lower than that. All right, and then if I want to go to the timeline, that one, as you can see, is going to be an upgrade. So it's not something that I use. If I move over to calendar, just like the to-do list, I can see things on the calendar that were done or that have a due date on them. Okay. Progress, this is if you have, we don't really use very many different progress updates on ours, but you have the option to where if you want to put something is like, in stage 1 or stage 2 or something, you could create statuses here and let people know what progress you are on certain projects. But again, we don't really use that feature, but it's an option. Forms is an upgrade. If you go to more, you have conversations, and this is where you could talk to the team. So I could say, hi team, how was everyone's Easter? And then I can hit post. Oh, actually, I've got to put something here. Let me Take that down here. Perfect. So now I've got a post. I could add stuff if I want to. I could format it to make it look differently. I could tag certain people if I want. I could add emojis, you guys, and then I could add files if I need to. But if I click post, everybody who's on this team up here is going to see this post, and they could respond to it or make their own posts. Okay, they could also just like the post if they want, or they can link the conversation to someone else if it makes sense. So back over here to the left, on the favorites, it's showing the boards and stuff that I use the most, but let me show you down here where it shows teams. This is, let me close all my teams first so that I could show you. All right, so my teams, I have 4 teams set up right now. And so this first one is my marketing and media team, right? Which is my marketing and media business, but everyone who's in that is on that team. Owners only mean it's me and my business partner are the only 2 people who could see anything in here. Personal is private to me. This is where I put my family stuff, and nobody on the team could see this, not even my business partner. Okay, and then I've got a Fuse business training team as well. So let's go through each of these one at a time. The first one, as you can see, it shows who's on my team. Then it shows what projects are here. So this is I've already showed you guys the work orders and pay requests, the team calendar and conversations. I showed you through the work order page. And then the contractor process is what we're working on to try to make sure everybody's on the same page with when they become a contractor, when do they sign the non-solicitation agreement, how do they submit their pay request, how do they know how to get the training. So we're just basically working on that right now, and that's my partner's thing that he's doing. I'm not really working on that. He's doing it all. That's one of his tasks to do. And so see, I'm on here as like somebody who can see it, but he's the one working on all this. So we welcome them, then we give them their standard operating procedures. We go through the admin functions of scheduling an interview with us, adding them here into HubSpot and all that good stuff. So that is a work in progress. If we move back over here to owners only, I'm not going to go through the running to-do list because, of course, that's things that's just for Mars and I. But I can show you the company goals and milestones. These are some things that we would like to do that we just have as running topics that we talk about, and some goals, and then some objectives that we have. And we don't necessarily put timelines, due dates on these, because we actually do that in our rocks area. So for instance, our 2020 Q1 goals, we had develop our consistent branding. So we created general marketing templates, a brand new logo, branding guide, all that for Fuse. Now the logo I designed last quarter of 2019, but when we were deciding on our goals, it was a goal for Q1 because we didn't know how much we'd get done. And, like I said, we just started back up in September, but, and then develop and grow our marketing and media company. Both of these things were accomplished in Q1. We are now in Q2. We're working on our actual written business plan. And then we are completing our time management module for the roadmap. And then as you can see, we have other goals here. You can add or delete them or move them if you don't reach it, or however it makes sense. I don't recommend putting more than like 2 or possibly 3 big quarter goals. It really should be 1 or 2, because if you have too many big goals for a quarter, it's going to be hard for you to focus on them. So these are your big goals, the ones that are that's actually going to take you a full 3 months to do. Okay, like it's not something you could do in just one sitting. So these are our big major goals. And then if you come over to the personal list, again, I'm not going to show you too much on this because I honestly don't remember what's on them off the top of my head, and I don't want to invade anybody's privacy, like any of my children or my husband or anybody. But this is my personal list to me, but it works the same way. I have my personal to-do list, which again, this is where I do doctor appointments and stuff like that. I have my Rise Mastermind list, and the reason that's in personal is because it's not related to Fuse. It is a separate business that I own outside of my Fuse empire. Same thing with IBC Investments. That is a separate business that I own, that I co-own outside of Fuse. BWC is Businesswomen for Christ. That is an organization that I am I'm a leader of. I'm a board member. And so that is something that I do a lot of work for as well. And then my private clients, these are the clients I had before I brought on my business partner. He had agreed with me that any of my existing clients, because I had only had like 2 of them at the time, he said for me to just keep those as private clients and don't move them into Fuse. So that's my private client work. And then, of course, my Fuse business training. As you can see, there are different people here. You see John Hackett right there. He's one of our coaches for the Fuse business training program. And so he would be able to see all the stuff that's here with the coaching program, the roadmap, and then the Fuse business training stuff. Now, if you want to add another team, you can do that. The team does not necessarily have to be an actual team. It could be different departments. Like you could have your finance department as one team or one project. You could have your admin tasks as one team or one project. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an actual team. That's just the name of it. Does anyone have any questions right now? Okay, so to create a new team, you give it a name up here. All the teams are the names that you, let me click and show you again. The teams are the names that are up by the arrow. Okay, so Fuse Marketing and Media. Everything that's underneath it, those are called projects for the team, okay? So if I add a new team, oh, and then actually let me clarify too. So again, the teams are the ones where the arrows are. So I have 4 teams. The projects are what's listed underneath them. And then inside of the projects are tasks. Okay, so teams, projects, tasks. That's how it works. So if I add another team, I go here, I write the team name, I can invite anyone I want. If they're not already in my group, it will send them an email saying, Barbara would like to invite you to be part of this team. Do you accept? And all you have to do is click on it. If you have an Asana account, it will go right through your own Asana account. But if you don't have an Asana account, it will ask you to set one up for free. Okay? And then if I want to, let's see, I showed you how to add a task. I showed you how to add teams, showed you the difference between project and tasks. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment so I could look at you guys and see if we have questions. Let's see, Debbie George had to jump off. Rick Gosser, by the time I make a to-do list, I can get the job done, just saying. Rick, that is definitely true that this first time you are going to, I don't even see Rick on here anymore. Maybe he had to get off. Maybe he doesn't like me anymore. I'm just playing. So it is very true that by the very first time that you create your to-do list, especially when you're, oh, there's Rick, you're brain dumping, right? The very first time, it is going to be overwhelming. It is going to be time consuming. But once you get in the habit of it, like now it takes me like maybe 5 minutes to add the things to and now don't get me wrong, you guys, I still am a notebook type of person, right? So I'm still writing stuff down all day, like while I'm doing videos and stuff, I'm writing like a to-do list, handwriting right here. And then at the end of the day, I like to go into my to-do list, quickly jot those in, whatever teams they're in, and if it's me that does them, when I'm planning to do them. It takes me maybe 5 minutes to do that. Okay, and basically I'm copying it from here to the digital one. The very first time, it took me several days to get everything into my to-do list. And granted, yes, it's going to give you a whole lot of things to do, but you guys, they're all in one place and they're all searchable. Have you ever thought of, oh, I forgot I needed to do such and such for somebody? And then you know you've got something that you're supposed to do, but you can't remember what they told you to do with it, and you wrote it down somewhere. This is a great place to keep all that information. Dwight, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I can write so much faster than I can type. I mean, I type like 5 words a minute. I mean, it's like, I'm like this. I'm not even kidding.
So no worries. If this does not seem to work for you, that's okay. I just wanted you guys to know that it exists. Now, if you are going to have a written to-do list, I would recommend keeping it in one place. Like only have one notebook. Don't write it in every place and have a bunch of Post-it notes everywhere. And, you know, every once in a while, grab a different piece of paper and scratch paper. Try to keep it all in one notebook if you're going to handwrite it all.
I would try to find an app on my phone, because my phone keypad has a voice to text, and I use voice to text so much because I can actually get sentences in there, without doing the little typing thing.
So actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Asana does have an app, and you can use voice to text in the app. All right, David, question? I cannot hear you, David. You are muted. There you go.
All right, Barbara, I'm on. Hear me?
Yep.
Barbara?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
So I'm thinking here too, is this program popular because you're talking about teams? So if somebody has multiple businesses, or let's say MLM or whatever, let's just say they have multiple businesses and multiple team members in that business. So this seems like this would be something, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be effective to keep track of all of these and these team members from these multiple businesses?
Definitely. And in fact, it could, if you're an MLM especially, and you have a team of people that you're leading, this is a great place that you can actually, let me share my screen again, because what you guys could do is you could technically do it in a couple of different ways. If everyone could go ahead and mute themselves again, please. And so what you could do is you could do it in a couple of ways, where you could either set it up as a team first, and then once it's as a team, then you can go into that team, and each person could be their own project, right? Like the people that you're leading could be their own project, and you could set that project to only that person could see it. And then you could have a project for the whole team to where everybody on the team can see it. And then in the project for the person, you could create tasks that they're supposed to do. And like maybe you have like a 10-step process to get someone acquainted with the business and the team. And so you could walk each person through the same thing, but on their own project.
Excellent. Yeah, because basically when you join whatever organization you do, you either get the software for free or you pay for it. But the thing is it's only good for that particular company. So if somebody's involved in 3, 5, 6, whatever amount of business opportunities, and they're looking to create multiple streams of income and track their business, this looks like this would be a powerful app for that.
It does. And this is also good for those of you, for instance, if you're if you have somebody else you need to be accountable to for some reason, whether that's your clients or a business partner or an accountability partner or a coach or something like that, this is a digital list of things that you have completed and that you are completed. And so it's a nice thing that, like, if you've ever thought, oh, I wonder if I ever did such and such, you can actually look right back through your to-do list and see. A lot of times when your to-do list is on paper, you usually throw it away when you've completed it, right? Because you don't want all that paper laying around.
Sure.
But here, you don't necessarily have to throw it away. You just archive it, and it goes off your to-do list, but it's still there for you to search and see that you've completed it.
Excellent. So obviously this has many things that can be done to benefit you other than the to-do list. It looks like there's a multifaceted amount of things you can do. Excellent.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Yeah. And again, I know that it may or may not be for everybody, and people might already have something that they are using that's working, but I wanted you guys to be aware of this program because, like I said, I've been using it for 5 or 6 years now. I love it. I use it as my to-do list. I use it for my team management, and it's free. So I recommend it. If you don't have something else that's already working well for you, I recommend you give it a try. So your homework assignment is to create an account on Asana or anywhere else, or if you're using your own program, that's fine too, but create your account. And then I want you to do what I call dump your list. So everything that's up here in your brain that you have to do, or everything that's on all your pieces of paper of to-do list, dump it all in there. Don't worry about anything other than just putting the task on there first, okay? So you put every task that you could think of on there. And then you go back and you prioritize things and you give due dates to the things that need it. Now, everything does not have to have a due date. There could be some things that are, listen, I need to do these at some point. I don't know when, but at some point I would like to do this. right? And then you could look at it when that thing becomes a priority for your business, because you can't do everything overnight. Like, it's just impossible. You can't get everything done today. And if you can, then I'd like to know what kind of business you're in, because I don't know how that's possible, even as a human being at all. But so get it all in there, then assign the due dates to it. And then after that, focus on the most impactful things, right? So if you've got things that are due today, do them today. Or if it's set up for you to do it today, do it today. If you have nothing that's due today, look at what's due tomorrow. Do those things first. If you're already finished with everything that you have to do today and there's still more time, work on stuff for the rest of the week. Right? So it just helps you to get more things done. I'm telling you guys, my productivity increased. I don't have an exact number. I didn't do the exact statistics on it, but I would say probably at least 3 times over how much my productivity increased when I started using this program.
Hey, Barbara.
Yeah.
I just give all my ideas to Tim, and then he does them all.
Hey, everybody needs a Tim. And Tim, how do we get a Tim?
I just come up with the ideas, and he does it. See how that works? Makes my to-do list nothing.
That's
nothing
a great team.
I'm nothing on my to-do list. See?
I like that. I like it a lot.
I'm just gonna wait for him to slam me with some ideas now.
Oh, Tim, that's a challenge. You're up for the challenge, right? Give Rick some to-dos. Guys, this also helps with delegation too. If you've ever had a hard time figuring out what you could delegate to somebody else and you start putting this stuff in there, it's easier for you to see when you're looking at it in this way that, you know what, this is something that John can do, or this is something that, you know, so-and-so can do. You could realize those things easier when you see your whole to-do list in one spot like that. All right.
I like it.
Oh, good, good. Any other comments, questions, or concerns?
Barbara, you may have mentioned it. Did this allow you to do reoccurring tasks?
I have not found it, at least not in the free version. It might be an option in the paid version. I usually just duplicate it and change the due date. So while that might take a little bit of extra time, again, I've learned that putting in the time at the beginning is helpful for the long run, right? All right, David, is your hand up again?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Anybody else? Who thinks that they might try this program? Raise your hand. Couple people. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. I am looking forward to seeing. Now, you guys, of course, don't need to post your to-do list, but if you are using the program and you're liking it or anything like that, please share that on the comments of the homework. Let me know if you're giving it a try, if you're checking it out or anything like that, or if you use something else, feel free to post what you use in the comments so other people can check those options out too. Dwight.
Does Google have their own checklist application?
Yeah, yeah. Google does have a to-do list built in as well.
And that would probably work interfacing with the calendar and the Drive documents and all that.
Yep.
Google has everything.
Else? What's that, Rick?
Google has everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I haven't found anything they don't have yet. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I think I've answered all the questions, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Let me see if I could tell you what the topic is tomorrow. Give me a moment. I'm grabbing it. Tomorrow is, Google. We're doing Google Drive tomorrow. Look at that. Well, I'll show you everything Google has tomorrow. All right.
Awesome.
All right. You guys have a great day.
See ya. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Barbara.
Yep.
Bye-bye.